Welcome to the Saturday Sports Line. Since 1969, the premier sports show about local high school sports, featuring coaches, players, and special guests. Now, here is your host of the Saturday Sports Line, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Columbi, and sports analyst, Chris McGowan.
Hey, we're back for more here on the Saturday Sports Line, the second week of Indiana High School Football 2022. Let's get right into it and see our area scores from last night. The North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays took it to Caston last night. 52-8 was the final as they travel to North Newton next week. Culver Cavaliers beat the South Central Satellites 32-16 for their first win of the season. The Knox Redskins, tough battle against the Rochester Zebras. We were there last night, and 48-6 was the final, as it was a tough loss to take for Russ Radtke. We'll hear from him here in just a little bit. The Winamac Warriors could not beat Pioneer last night, 38-0 for their second loss of the season. We'll hear from Josh Burgess in a little bit. And finally, the South Central Satellites, like we mentioned, traveled to Culver. They lost 32-16. Finally, the West Central Trojans, they are 2-0 for the first time in a while, 44-12 as they beat Lake Station in Lake Station last night, as we have Marc Hall on the line. And Chris, I know you have many questions for Marc. Let's bring him in here.
I say it's a testament to your staff and you and the kids for sticking with it, because it's hard, year in and year out. You guys, like I said, you've just been decimated by injuries at key positions, and it's forced you to play some younger kids. But again, you've stuck with the game plan, and now you're basically living off the fruits of all that hard work. So, going into last night's game, what did Lake Station bring that concerns you?
They have a couple of very athletic kids up front. They're linemen. They've got two of them that were over 300. Another couple around 280, but they've got the one lineman, it was like 6'5", like 330. He was a massive guy, and our concern was we better not try to get close to him, because he's going to lock on and we're not going to get away. So all week we're talking about we've got to make sure defensively up front we're getting hands away and using our speed, because we were going to be quicker than them. So we had to use that to our advantage. Then they had some really athletic kids. Their quarterback that had played in week one, I can throw the ball really well. He wasn't always the most accurate, but it was just he would scramble around and a flick of the wrist, and that ball's going 40 yards. So it was one of those things we had to make sure that up front we did some drills to mirror people, quarterbacks during scout, to make sure we were getting used to running around a lot. And it came into play last night, because we some of those linemen up front for us, like Tristan Sizemore, Christian Hughes, and Buzz Beiswinger, and Joe Jackson, they probably ran about 4 miles chasing the quarterbacks down last night. But they did what we had asked them to. They stayed with it and worked as a unit, making sure that he didn't have opportunities to escape too much. And if one side gave a push and he started scrambling the other way, the other side would try to outflank him and keep him running around. So it was good effort up there by those guys. But they had some very athletic kids that we need to make sure that we knew where they were and could keep them under control.
We're talking with head coach of the West Central Trojans, Marc Hall, this morning. And Marc, the first week of football always seems forever to get to. We're already ending the second week and going into week 3, so looks like high school football schedule is in full force right now. You take on Tri-County next week. Tell us a little bit about what you're planning for and how hopeful your kids are in getting a third win in their belt. That would be great to start the season off at 3-0.
Yeah, as you're talking about the season, it is one of those things. Like, it does seem like it takes forever to get to week 1, but once you start rolling, like the weeks, they go by quickly once we get going. But the kids last night were in great spirits, like we should be, and we set goals for the season back in October, as soon as our last season ended. And every week we talk about the importance of each game, but we still haven't gotten to where our goals start yet. And this week is one of those goals with conference. So the kids, I expect them to have great focus this week. And they since it is a conference opponent, we know Tri-County pretty well. The kids know each other, being close to schools. And The one thing that we do have that's a little bit different this year, and really it was also last year, is Tri-County has now had 3 coaches in 3 years. So it's one of those things that we gotta adjust, I guess, to what they're going to be doing. And at the same time, we also know that there's a lot of transition there, so they may not be as I guess, fluent in what they're going to be doing as what they might be in a couple of years. So we're going to have to make sure we take advantage of the things that we can and keep playing hard and just do the things we can control. And that's going to start with a great week of practice, make sure we know what we're supposed to be doing.
And that's what I was going to ask. Having 3 coaches in 3 years, things must be running pretty smoothly. I mean, they beat Attica last night 48-6. So anytime you can put 48 points on the board, things are going pretty well. But again, I was going to ask, what exactly do you know? What does Tri-County bring? What do they run offensively, defensively, that's going to help you prepare for Friday night?
Oh, we watched one of their films last night. They're in some shotgun stuff and doing some read option things out of it, which they were not in last year. Last year they were more just traditional flex bone option like we are. So they're keeping some elements of option just out of little bit different formation. Defensively, it looked like they were in more of a 4-3. So in the summer, one of the things we did in the beginning of August is we constantly rotated different types of defenses that we could possibly see. So we've gotten used to several defenses. So we should be fine going into that and changing that, because it's week 1 we were up against a 4-4. Then last night Lake Station was up in a 6-4 at one point. So the kids adjusted well. It's just, and we tell them every week, it's just we got to communicate. As long as we communicate and follow our rules, we'll be fine. So that's what we got to be doing this week, and just adjust to what they show. I mean, they show a 4-3, but against us, they a lot of teams do switch up their defense to try something different, because I think it may stop what we try to do.
And that's where that experience comes in. Having kind of forced to have to play such young kids at 2 or 3 years ago because of all the injuries, but now again you're reaping the benefits of that experience, and you're able to do that. Like you in August, you can take the days and say, okay, we're going to run our offense against this defense, and take time in practice to simulate those defenses. So to have that experience just speaks volumes for the success you're having so far at the beginning of this season, and hopefully, like I said, it continues on Friday night against Tri-County, first opponent in the conference. Okay, so let's go back to West Central. What 2 games into the season, what area do you think your team needs to improve the most?
Special teams is a little concerning at times. We've got guys there that are capable, definitely capable of making plays. It's just sometimes I don't know if we get a little absent-minded sometimes on special teams. We definitely got to drill that down. Communication defensively it has its ups and downs. We just got to make sure we're more consistent with it. The offensive line, I think, has done a really nice job of communicating, which is something that we struggled with in the past. So we got to make sure the defense gets on the same page of that and is constantly communicating. And one of the things we always tell the kids out at practice is that secrets don't make friends, and out here we can't have any secrets. So if you see something, you got to be yelling it out to your buddy over there to make sure he understands what's happening. And so we just got to keep hammering on that to make sure the kids are communicating everything so we can cover it all.
All right, and lastly, how 2 weeks into the season, how's the health of the ball club?
Pretty good. Last night, the biggest thing we had last night were a few cramps here and there from some of those defensive linemen that were running around so much. But pretty good overall. We do get one kid back this week, or not back, but eligible this week. He missed last night by a day, so we've got another lineman coming into the fold that's going to help us. And we got everyone else that's rolling along. So hopefully we can continue that and stay fairly healthy throughout the rest of the year. I mean, at this point, as soon as the season starts, he gets pads on. Nobody's 100% anymore, so it's hopefully we can maintain where we're at.
Yeah, I would always have a meeting right before our very first practice and tell my guys in the locker room, now, how you feel right now is the best you're going to feel the rest of the season. So enjoy it.
Uh-huh.
But, hey, Coach, congratulations on a great start to the season. Coach Marc Hall of the West Central Trojans. Let me rephrase that, the 2-0 West Central Trojans. Yes. And we wish you the best of luck next week, Coach.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks to Marc Hall, head coach of the West Central Trojans. We're going to take a break, but come back and we'll talk with Mike Zehner, the head coach of the Culver Community Cavs. He's got a lot to talk about tonight with their big win over the South Central Satellites. You stick around. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Brems. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392, the Stark County Co-op.
Collins Insurance Agency in Knox has done it again. They have earned the distinction of preferred agency partner from the Western Reserve Insurance Company.
Can't touch this.
So what does that mean for you? Collins Insurance Agency provides themselves of taking care of its community. That means providing the best insurance that keeps you and your family safe in a time of need. And with this honor, Collins Insurance Agency looks forward to providing Stark and surrounding counties the best customer service you and your family deserve. Collins Insurance Agency in Knox, living the golden rule by treating you like family.
Since 1936, Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning have always taken pride in doing the job right. Third-generation owner Brian Hammond and his family have always set the standard when it comes to taking care of all your heating and cooling needs. Making your home a comfortable home is the absolute top priority. If you are uncomfortable in your home, give them a call at 574-936-4660. Follow them on Facebook. Let Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning help you take control of your comfort. You're listening to Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
A lot of sports action happening in our area, and we are catching you up to it. This is the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios here at Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI. I'm Mitch Columbi. We've got Mike Zehner on the line from the Culver Community Cavaliers with a big win over the South Central Satellites. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Good. How are you, Mitch?
Hey, I'm hanging in there, man. You know, we were at Knox last night, but we were getting updates on your game and really happy you guys pulled out your first win of the season.
Hey, I appreciate it. Yeah, kids played hard as well. It was a really good team win for us. I felt like we had a lot of guys step up and do some really good things. Obviously, some individual performances, kind of shine on the stat sheets and stuff, but there's a lot of guys doing their job to get it done. And, I was very, very happy and excited, obviously, to get a win or get a one in the win column, especially after the previous week. I thought we did some really good things for, 3.5 quarters last week. But really, I felt like that game probably helped us prepare for this week. And, I had some new faces in some places. Ray Mulbass was out sick, so he didn't get to play this last night. And so Logan Caudell stepped up and was our left tackle last night and did a great job for us. Also felt like we got Ian Brown back. Ian Brown's a senior for us. He actually came back from basic training last week, so got his practices in. He's good to go. He gave us a little spark there at the inside linebacker and then special teams and did some really neat things for us. I felt like he brought us some energy. So there's a couple new faces. Emiliano Ortiz, who wasn't eligible to play for the first week, he came out and started a safety for us, so gave us a little more depth in the special column, the specialties guys and the receivers. So I look to see him, do more and more offensively here in the coming weeks as well. And, when looking across the board, I thought the guys up front, Shane, you always mention Shane Schuman's name and Jason Cadle, being the quarterback and Schuman being the running back. Schuman was over 100 yards and had 4 touchdowns last night, but a lot of that was up, for those guys up front. I know I mentioned Logan. Robert Evans got his second start at guard, and then our 3 big guys that we rely on a lot, which is Stephen Pugh at center, and our guard Devin Burkett, and then our tackle Ben Lee. Those guys did a great job last night for us up front, blocking. Ran probably their way a little bit more than the other side, but then Ollie Morgan was another guy that helped lead on some ISOs and plays tight end for us, along with Ethan Binion. So I know I mentioned a lot of guys there, but those guys all had a tremendous game and effort. And then another guy that really did a nice job for us was Ryan Beam, receiving and running some jet sweeps and doing some different things. Had some big yards there for us, some big plays, and so great team effort. That was, I mentioned a lot of guys on the offensive side of the ball, but a kid that stood out for me, on the defensive side of the ball was a freshman by the name of Theron Carrington, who is number 20 on our roster. He's a freshman, and he just, he's playing. He's starting just based on his effort and what he does in practice, and then also in the scrimmage against North Miami, what he did. He just causes havoc in the backfield. He had 2 fumble recoveries last night, made some plays in the backfield, and did a really good job. Really sealed the game late for us. And a lot of people don't realize this, but he's actually hearing impaired and has an interpreter on the sideline. So as a coach, it's been an adjustment for me, and really, you're always learning as a coach. And then I want to learn some sign to make sure, I can communicate more effectively with him. We do a wristband card for him and some different things, but he's a special kid, brings a lot of energy, has a big heart. And I'm excited. I'm glad that he's a part of this football team, this community.
I want to go back to something you just said and all that, which I didn't think.
Ramble there. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. But now I'm taking notes here and jotting some things down. And the one thing I had to pick myself up off the floor. I'm glad nobody could hear that at home. But I didn't think this was in your lexicon. Jet sweep.
I know. Coach Faust, what did he say? Last week we ran 14 different formations, and so I'm like, well, that's 13 more than we ran the last 5 years, Faust. So,
so again, it gives you the defense other things they have to prepare for, and it's nice to see. You have some success here early on with the new things you're doing. Going into last night's game against South Central, the last several years, it's been like a one-possession game and always been tight. What concerns you about the Satellites?
Oh, it always has been. I told Buzz after the game, I go, man, it's always a good game when we get together. And I know they had some guys, they got some guys back up front, but they had a couple guys out that wasn't playing last night. That they got some weapons. They're going to be all right. I told him, man, you guys are a tough out. That quarterback, Hansard kid's a dang good quarterback. He can pick you apart and he can hurt you with his legs. And he started doing that in the second half a little bit against us. And we just didn't have an answer for it. There's times we'd have him wrapped up the backfield and he would still, get away. I remember 2-point conversion late that tied the game, and we were playing some man defense and got off and had him wrapped up in the backfield on a blitz package, and then he ends up throwing it anyway and didn't make the play in the backfield. So, we definitely didn't have some things go our way that, and that's on us. But our kids battled. They were resilient, and that's what we got to have. The Hogan kid's obviously a special player for him. He went down there in the fourth quarter, and that definitely hurt their offensive production. Really put on their quarterback, but he's got a heck of an arm, and he's got some athletes. They get everybody back and healthy. They're going to be a tough out for anybody.
Talking with head coach of the Culver Cavs, Mike Zehner, as they are 1-1 for the 2022 campaign. They head to Knox next week, which will be our game of the week. And, Coach, I'm hoping I get a chance to see some of your kids in practice this week. I hope you'll let me stop by. I'd love to see what you guys are gearing up for against Knox. And I know that'll be a big game here in Knox. And Chris will be on hand as well. And, Chris, let's talk a little bit with Mike about what they may be planning. And we'll ask Mike, of course, what he's thinking he might do against the Knox Redskins.
I'm hoping to score more points than they do.
Well, I tell you what, after last night's game, holy cow! I was expecting a football game, and all of a sudden it turns into a track meet.
Kidding.
840 yards of total offense. Only 2 possessions that didn't result in a touchdown, and that was the 2 right before halftime, where Rochester gets stopped inside the 5-yard line, and then Knox just runs out the clock at the end of the first half. But other than that, there was a touchdown scored on every other single possession, and I think it's the first game I've ever been a part of where nobody punted.
That's crazy. That's that's an exciting game. We were watching a little bit last night once we got the exchange made, and we got to the first half, and it seemed like big play, and then or it's a kickoff return, and so definitely some big plays, and we know Knox has that potential. We know they're platooning. They're limiting their guys going both ways, and we got to make sure that we're conditioned and can do 4 quarters of football and get that. This is always an exciting game. This is kind of a rival game when it comes to Culver Knox. And, I was talking to Tony a little bit earlier, and I told him, like, a lot of these guys are in trades classes together. We go over there for vocational, for welding, and they came over here for building trades. So a lot of our kids play, work together and know each other, develop friendships. And it's always fun to play against some, friends, and you get to talk smack a little bit, before and after the game, and it's all good fun. I remember playing this game, 21 years ago, and it was kind of the same thing. We went over for automotive class, and a lot of the football players from Knox were in that class, a lot of the football players from Culver in that class. So it was always good fun, and obviously, what Coach Radtke's got the program rolling. I think that game last night could have went either way. He probably came who had the ball last there, and that doesn't happen very often when you score on every possession and for both teams. But we got to make sure we're shoring up things defensively and make sure we're sure tacklers and make sure our pad level's low, because that's definitely going to be a big key, and we've got to eliminate big plays. And they definitely got big play potential with all their backs, quarterback and running backs as well.
Yeah, it came down to the last possession, and we were kind of joking on the air about this game may come down to whoever can defend a 2-point conversion, and that's exactly what happened with under 30 seconds to go. But again, your kids, I'm sure you're going to have them ready to play. It is a backdoor rival, and the vocational stuff has even made the world smaller. But back when I played, I couldn't imagine going and hanging out with my rivals, whether it be in the classroom or of course we didn't have to worry about social media or cell phones back when I was growing up. But again, the technology.
I'm sure you got a MySpace page floating around there.
No. I don't even have Facebook. Are you kidding me? But anyway, it's just one of those things. How technology has made the world smaller, and the kids know each other and they do hang out, but. It is a backdoor rival, and throw out the records and, let the chips fall where they may. So, again, this week of practice, what are you going to concentrate on the most to get your team ready?
I think what I just mentioned there, we got to make sure that we can't have missed tackles. We can't have them wrapped up in the backfield like we had last night, and then they scamper off and get a first down. Got to get off the field on third down. Got to get some turnovers. And I think that was he helped South Central hang around there. They converted some fourth downs. I think 3 of 6 on fourth down, if I remember right. So we got to make sure we get off the field, and a lot of those were fourth and long, and so it's disappointing sometimes. And then they had a punt that they punted and it hit our kid, and they recovered it there and got a better field position on a fourth and really long. So that, and then shoring up some just some miscommunication, some false starts and penalties that we got to shore up, because you play good teams, and you got to play error free, and we can't get behind the sticks early on against teams like Knox.
Well, it sounds like you mentioned a couple kids coming back for you, so that always helps. But overall, how's the health of your club going into next week?
We had a little scare last night. Had a sophomore Forrest go down on a kickoff and knocked him out a little bit. So I'm hoping he's good. Communicated with the parents last night a little bit, but they took him to the hospital just to be safe. But I think it's going to be a concussion protocol, and we'll see. But prayers with him. I think everybody else is pretty healthy for the most part. Normal bumps and bruises after a physical game, and every time South Central and us get together, it's always a good game. So hats off to them, and I know Buzz has got the group headed in the right direction, but I think we'll be okay health-wise.
And we've been talking with Culver Cavaliers head coach Mike Zehner. We appreciate his time for the big win, 32-16 over the South Central Satellites. Mike, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you next week, or hope to talk to you soon.
Appreciate it. Thanks for
and make sure you
letting me
keep
ramble on.
Yeah, make sure you keep Coach Kyle Kling in line. Hey, at halftime of next week, would it be okay if I caught Kyle and interviewed him at halftime? Or would you want to?
I hope that's not live.
Oh, it's going to be live.
Hey, Mike,
good luck with that one.
Well, last night we had Chris McGowan down on the sidelines for us, and it went just perfect. He got Russ Radtke going into halftime. Then he got the Rochester Zebras head coach, Coach Schaefer, coming out of halftime. It just was so perfect. We really hope he get a chance to talk to you at halftime next week if it's a good score. Of course, we don't want to bother you if it's not a good game, but we'd love to have you, and we appreciate your time, Mike. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you later this week.
Hey, no problem. Anytime. Anything to promote the program, so I appreciate you guys letting me ramble on here for a while.
Hey, we love it. It's less for me to say. Have a good day.
Thanks, you guys too.
All right, that's Mike Zehner, head coach of the Culver Cavaliers. We're going to take a quick break and come back and talk to the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays head coach, Brett Lambert. He's in the studio live and ready to chat about their big win over Caston last night. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Collins Insurance Agency in Knox has done it again. They have earned the distinction of preferred agency partner from the Western Reserve Insurance Company.
Can't touch this.
So what does that mean for you? Collins Insurance Agency provides themselves of taking care of its community. That means providing the best insurance that keeps you and your family safe in a time of need. And with this honor, Collins Insurance Agency looks forward to providing Stark and surrounding counties the best customer service you and your family deserve. Collins Insurance Agency in Knox, living the golden rule by treating you like family. Coke knows there's nothing better than the beat of the summer. The beat begins in a simple and mellow place, from low-key to hyped up. So we're helping you and your friends drink it all in with 100 days of the artist's experiences, tracks, and concerts with the best names in music, all at Coke Studio. Drink, scan, and enjoy your Coke so you never miss out on all the amazing offers we're dropping this summer.
Since 1936, Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning have always taken pride in doing the job right. Third-generation owner Brian Hammond and his family have always set the standard when it comes to taking care of all your heating and cooling needs. Making your home a comfortable home is the absolute top priority. If you are uncomfortable in your home, give them a call at 574-936-4660. Follow them on Facebook. Let Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning help you take control of your comfort. Here's more with area high school coaches as we return to the Saturday Sports Line from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios on K99.3.
You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI. Mitch Columbia along with sports analyst Chris McGowan, and we have in the studio head coach of the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays, Brett Lambert. Big win last night over Caston, 52-8. Let's bring in Brett and see what he has to say. Brett, big win last night. Tell us a little bit about some of the players and what stood out to you.
I mean, the guys, just took care of business, and the coaches did a great job. The players, we had really a good week of practice in preparation for the game, and they went there and executed last night, and they got it done. So that's obviously awesome. There was no punts, very few turnovers. We had 33 points in the first quarter, 46 at halftime, and those, when you get a running clock the second half, it goes really fast. We only had 2 possessions in the second half, and that was pretty much just JV time. But yeah, just a good night for the team. It's a game that we should have won, and we did what we had to do and got out of there injury free. So it was a good night.
Well, absolutely. And, Coach, we talked a little bit last week after that win over Culver, 45-12. We talked a little bit about Caston, and, Caston scored 8 points the week before. I believe they were playing, let's see here.
West Central.
West Central. They only scored 8 points against West Central as well. So you did the same sort of attack there on the defensive side, but you also got some of your younger guys to play in the second half. So that's got to be very a good feeling for you, knowing that some of the guys are getting more time than the starters the whole way through. That way you can kind of have more of a full-fledged from top to bottom team going deep into the postseason.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And, I mean, just, any experience is a great thing for the younger guys. It's just being in front of a bigger crowd, and just there's something more to it than being in a JV game. So that's definitely good for them. Again, our varsity set it up by just coming out ready to play. And that's something we got to do, from here on out. I think they gave up, I think it was 49 yards in the first half to Caston, and Caston scored, I think it was like 2 minutes left in the game. So again, they dominated. Our guys dominated the game. We had some performances. I'll go through some stats here. Aldric Harper, runs the show at quarterback. He had another really good game. He was 5 for 6 passing for 135 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also had 6 carries for 42 yards and a touchdown. Cheyenne Allen touched the ball 6 times, but he had 3 touchdowns. He had 2 receptions for 87 yards for 2 touchdowns, and he had 4 carries for 39 yards and a touchdown. Brock Benson's been a workhorse these last 2 weeks for us. He didn't have to get a bunch of carries last night, but again, 11 carries, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's a guy who didn't get a lot of reps last year as a freshman. He got some, but he had a couple injuries here and there. But he's somebody who we're really counting on this year. I mean, he's just a big, strong, physical kid who's going to get it done, and he's a different type of runner than Cheyenne and Gabe Ellis and Aldric. He's 225 pounds, and and he's not shy of contact by any means. So it's just a nice change of pace for us to have him. Just a couple more names. Gabe Ellis had 4 carries for 49 yards. Sam Holland, defensively, he returned a fumble for a touchdown, and then the very next play on defense got an interception.
Wow!
And he's a junior playing outside linebacker. He's a kid who we got to have kids like Sam and Brock and these kids to fill some roles this year if we want to make a deep run once it comes time for playoff time. And again, I think he's a kid who's really stepping up and showing some great things to us in practice.
Again, first road trip of the season. Everything goes as planned. Obviously, with the score 52-8. Now next week, you got North Newton. The Spartans, they took it on the chin last night, 55-0 to Rensselaer. What do you expect from the Spartans?
Coach Rao's done a good job there over the years. I don't know how many years he's been there now. I'll say 6 maybe. He won a sectional one of his first couple years, but this year I know numbers are just a major thing for North Newton. I mean, they're under 20 guys right now. So to go against Rensselaer, and they had the rival of South Newton the first week, and I think they had a few guys out for that. They might have had like 15 dressed for that game. Then they go to Rensselaer against a tough team. We're not a bad team either. So I think, they're going to take maybe a few on the chin. At least I hope they do this week. And then they got KV after that. But then they get into their conference schedule where I think they can be more competitive. But, it's not one of their best teams. But I know Coach Rao's done a really good job with the players and schemes. So he's going to have them ready to go. But again, I think just like it's been, it's all about us this week and us getting better and getting after it. And really, I think we need to get the tempo. We had a good practice this past week, but I'd like to see the tempo come up a little bit more, and then the physicality a little bit in practice.
And that was going to be my next question, was what's going to be the focus for the Blue Jays this week, and how do you plan on in doing that in practice?
Well, I think this past week we really it's almost like we took a step back in the playbook maybe because we were trying to get better at the main stuff. Because it was almost like we had too much in, so we were just okay or good at a lot of things. But again, if you're going to make a run later in the year, you got to be great at your best stuff. So I think we're really putting more of a focus on that. So we'll build on that this week. But yeah, just how can we make us better? Because not that North Newton's a guaranteed win or anything, but they are struggling. But you get to a team like Knox, who even in a loss can put up 46 points. That's definitely something we obviously are worried about with the rival. And then you get Winamac, a rival. Then just go through the rest of the schedule. We go CMA, Triton, LaVille, Pioneer. There's not a week off right there. So yeah, we just got to keep getting better.
Yeah, the LaVille Lancers have all 22 starters back. They go to Bourbon last night and take care of Triton in a game that was 21-14 at halftime, but ended up being 52-7 whatever. No, I think it was 14-6 or 14-7 at halftime. Ended up being 52-14. So the Lancers are the real deal, but we'll talk about them a little bit later.
Yeah, I'm not worried about them at all right now.
But again, so overall, after 2 weeks, how's the health?
Health is good. We actually got Connor Benson back. Connor had I won't say where the injury is at. I'm not going to put that on the radio, but he had an injury last football season. Had some recovery time, and finally now he's cleared and ready to go. He felt like he should have been cleared months ago, and I like that mentality. But getting him back on the field, he was a starting free safety for us last year as a sophomore. Plays a little bit of running back, special teams. So again, having him back's great. But so far, we've gotten through pretty healthy. One thing I want to mention, I don't think he even knows this because I haven't really wanted to talk to him too much about it, but I knew he was right there. So Cheyenne Allen, he's got 320 points in his career. So he's got 50 touchdowns, 10 PATs, 5 two-point conversions. So he tied Joe Griffo's record last night for most points. So then his next score will be the all-time leading scorer. And of course, Joe Griffo, played for Radtke, just a heck of a football player during a heck of a football era. So again, I know that's it's a huge thing. It gives me goosebumps to even say, for him to be in that type of category of player. And again, he's doing it in all different ways. But I think that's just a great thing, and he's getting close to the rushing record as well. So again, not any pressure on him, but hopefully that'll happen soon.
To me, I got when you mentioned that, being a North Judson graduate, when you say the rushing record, and I think back to all the great athletes and all the great running backs that have gone through North Judson, and having been able to play with one of those in Sherman back, you want to talk about rare air. There you go.
Well, and with the rushing record, and Russ, of course, knows this as well as anybody because he was a Judson coach for 10 years, but, a lot of guys carried the ball. It was wishbone, and then even now with flexbone, but I probably get a little bit more into some I formation, some other stuff where, Cheyenne had some opportunities there. But yeah, we've had a lot of great running backs, but and they could have been, if they were an I formation back, that tailback, they probably could have had 4,000 or 5,000 yards. But when you share the wealth, I think it's better for the team and then in the community. I think we appreciate that. But just having a lot of players getting involved. But again, it's just great for Cheyenne to be in that company of names.
Talking with head coach of the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays, Brett Lambert. I almost said it.
Now, just so you guys know, I teased him. I said my name's Brett Lambert. I say it, and Chris just said it to him too. So we almost got him to say it.
You got me to say it. I didn't want to, but I almost did. We'll save that for another day. Do you think you could hold off Allen for next week so he could score against Knox where we're going to be at that game?
First of all, there's no guarantee that he's going to score against Knox, so I'm not going to go there. I would love for him to have 20 touchdowns against Knox, but there's no guarantee he's going to get one. So no, as soon as he can get the touchdown, that'd be perfectly fine with me. And yeah, we're not going to hold the kid back at all. No way.
I was talking to Michael Sarkozy the other day. Man, we are just so excited to be at that Knox game, the Winamac game, and then we'll be at your Culver Academy game as well. We're going to be 3 in a row there, and we're just so excited to get over there to North Judson. It'll be my first game there, and Chris, he's going to hopefully be down on the sidelines like he was last night. We got interviews at halftime. We got interviews after the game. It was just a lot of fun, and just really we're bringing a lot of energy to the game, and I think the coaches are excited about it, and we hope that it's a good enough game where you'll want to talk with us. So
I'll be willing. I'll do it. And then, I think the coaches, we appreciate that. And the players like that. Just it gets a little bit more atmosphere to it. The fans appreciate it. So I think that's really cool. I like that.
Well, we appreciate your time, Brett, and so much. Did you have one more thing, Chris?
No, just good luck Friday.
All right, thank you, guys.
They'll be taking on the North Newton next Friday, 7 p.m. Central Time's the kickoff. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI. We'll be right back with Russ Radtke and the Knox Redskins.
We knew we were going to get
First Farmers Bank and Trust. We've been serving family farms for over 130 years. We've seen our customers succeed in good times, pull through in tough times, and we've learned some lessons along the way. So we appreciate the customers we have today by finding the solutions they'll be looking for tomorrow. Are you ready to talk about your farm operation? Stop by a branch or visit us online at ffbt.com. First Farmers Bank and Trust. Equal Opportunity Lender. Member FDIC.
This presentation of our area's local high school sports is sponsored by Pulaski Memorial Hospital in Winamac. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is dedicated to providing excellent health care to improve the health and quality of life for the people and the community they serve. They will meet the community's needs and exceed their expectations by creating the best possible health care experience. For more information of the services they provide, call 946-2100.
Join us each Saturday morning on WKVI for the Saturday Sports Line and worldwide on WKVI.com.
Back here for more at the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios at Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI. I'm sitting here with head coach of the Knox Redskins, Russ Radtke. And Russ had a tough loss last night, but a heck of a game, 48-46 against the Rochester Zebras. It came down to that last possession, Russ, and tell us a little bit what happened there at the end and what you were hoping to see out of your guys.
Well, the last possession, like I said, is down to 21 seconds or whatever to go in the game, and we had a 2-point conversion that got stopped. First time it got stopped all year. First time it's got stopped in the ball game, and we just didn't. They executed a defense that we just didn't block properly. One or two players might have missed a situation, but it's just aggressiveness on both sides. If it was overtime, we still might be playing.
We were saying that up at the booth last night. Absolutely.
Because I don't know, if you only had to go 10 yards.
Yeah.
Instead of the 50 or 60 or 70 that each one of us had to do, it's a little bit different, People say, well, what you're doing about your defense? Well, what's Rochester doing about their defense? Right. I mean, both teams are pretty good. Both teams are pretty aggressive. And if we're missing them, the thing is, we had 422 yards. They had 409. Okay? But they had 63 plays, and we only had 36.
Yeah.
They executed 14 of 16 third down plays. We had them in third down 16 times, but they executed 14. Now, is that our defense's fault, or is that their offense's ability to execute? And when you can nickel diamonds and going on fourth downs, nobody punted, nobody thought of punting, nobody thought of kicking an extra point. You're going at each other all the time. And if we could put them into third downs, you think about it, 16 times we put them into third downs. Our defense is not in the wrong spot. They just were able to execute and do well. And we were able to also to drive down. The only time anybody stopped each other was right at the end of the first half. We had to have that, and we were able to stop them and get a turnover down at the 2-yard line or whatever going in. Then in the second half, they were able to stop us on a fourth down, and they got a ball, but we immediately came back and scored. So it was probably a fun game to watch. It wasn't a great game defensively to try to figure out what you're trying to do. But when you have, executions of an offense, I know Coach Schaefer quite well. He's a good friend of mine. And, you can't try to come up with schemes that can't work successfully for you. We felt we had it, but we just didn't get the execution at the right times. And it's nothing against the players that we have. We're going to, and if anything, I tell you what, the thing is, if anything, this is going to make you better, no matter what happens. If both offenses sit on their haunches and don't try to get better, then they won't improve. But our defense, and it's nothing against the players, but we started at 7 o'clock this morning already because we have coaches that got to be at things by noon today. So we've already been in there at 7 o'clock this morning. We're already breaking down film with the players. The JV's out getting ready to go. And we're going to have fun football here as it keeps going. So, in the state, we got to be the highest scoring 3A school in points, but we've got to do some things to get some adjustments. And we had a couple kids, and we're never going to offer excuses. We had a couple kids sick during the week that didn't get as much practice time, and result of those things coming back, I still got to give it to us. We played hard and aggressive right to the end, and whether we didn't get that last 2-point conversion is nothing on their fault. It's just that at some point there's a breakdown, and and it's not a bad play call or anything like that. I don't think anybody lost yardage. I don't remember a play that you ever actually had lost yardage on any running play or whatever. And if you can always say you can get 3 yards, and you're going to go for 2 all the time, that's a difference in a ballgame.
So one play that stuck out to me last night, which I saw on the sidelines, you guys really thought you had that fumble recovery. I think it was on the kickoff in the second half. It was a shorter kickoff on the right-hand side, right in front of you. It looked like Rochester dropped the ball, and Knox picked up the fumble recovery, it looked like, but the refs had decided to go a different direction. What was it the refs that were telling you down on the sideline? Do you remember this play I'm talking about?
Well, I remember it, and yes, we did recover it, and you can see it in the video. We recovered it, but hey, the officials saw it a different way, and so you just got to play football at that point. That'd been a big opportunity for us to have the ball. Our coordinator and the coaches that set that up with a pop-up over on the right-hand side, and the 2 guys that we went down and got the ball, and you can see us come up with it in our hands.
Yeah.
But officiating, it's part of the game, and then also, there's only 5 of them out there. How fast they can rotate and get to the right area. 2 guys were coming in from a long distance, and in that rotation, the pop-up doesn't get an official. That has to come almost 30 yards from one side and 30 yards from the other. And when they got there, hey, it's human. How many times the guy get called for a strike or something in baseball, and you look at it in video, and oh my God, the ball's completely outside. So we don't have replay, and we don't have that 6th and 7th official. So we just got to go with what happened, and we still have to. And that was early in the third quarter, I believe, right?
Yes, sir.
So that had been a big turnover and a good opportunity for a score. And the coaches trying things to get the ball back to us. Those are the things that is always an active nature.
So is the 2-point conversion something you're going to consider every week, or is that just a once-in-a-while type thing? I know you were showing me your new kicker this past week at practice, and he was kicking field goals, but we didn't see one last night. So what are your thoughts on potentially maybe going for just a point after, or are you going to continue the 2-point conversion?
Well, the attitude is that we're going to get the ball. We felt that if we would have went for the 1, they would have always been going for 1. But we set the tone. So as we were going for 2, and we're always going for 2, and we got the lead. What was the score at halftime? Were we ahead at halftime?
It was 24-16, I believe.
Us ahead, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So those are all factors that at that point, I think, and then our kicking game was we had a kickoff return for a touchdown.
Yeah.
There's nothing that the kids didn't give 100%. There's no doubt about that. It's just we got to get them into the right spots and have them feel secure with where they want to be. And again, as like I said, Rochester's a very good team, and they're a very good team defensively too. And I think that we can bring things along to keep improving. That was just a battle of some great offensive linemen going against defensive linemen last night. And I think that maturation will take place. I'd rather definitely play an opponent that gives you that challenge to get ourselves better as we keep going along, rather than get in a situation where you think you're good on defense or you think your defense is doing the right thing and not coming along, because we have to keep getting stronger at it.
We're talking with head coach of the Knox Redskins, Russ Radtke, who's 1-1 now to start the 2022 campaign. Well, Coach, you're at home again next week, taking on the Culver Cavs. Tell me a little bit about what you've seen or heard and what you're preparing for heading into Week 3.
Well, we haven't had much opportunity to think of any of the next game. The coaches are working on those aspects. I know they're not running a straight T all the time and controlling the ball there. They're in a more formations that give them the opportunity to isolate and find players. And, they did a good job on Judson until the end of the ball game. And I think they did a pretty good job last night against South Central. And you got to be able to attack and find players that can get to that ball. So I would say that's a little bit of the difference. And they're exciting, and they know what they have to do. Our special teams need to keep getting stronger as a result of that. And we can't just sit back and say, oh, yeah, we had 422 yards on a very good team. Now we're going back to play a 1. No, this isn't a 1A football team. This is conference right now. Mm-hmm. And we'll get aggressive and get ready to play the game Friday night with no problem.
Well, we appreciate you talking with us last night at halftime. That was pretty cool. We finally got the glitches worked out. We had Chris McGowan down on the sidelines getting all the information. He was itching, ready to coach again, he said. So I hope we don't lose him on the broadcast side of things.
Well, it definitely, he's on the sidelines. I think he might have been giving the information up from the sideline while the game's going on.
Yes, he was.
It's fantastic, and we're glad to be able to talk to him, and I think that'll be something that all the area coaches will really appreciate and have that atmosphere, and people listen to on the radio can hear a little bit more of the activity on the field and on the sideline, what's going on. So it's a good atmosphere that you keep improving, and it's going to make WKVI and a whole community get really excited.
A name that stuck out last night to me that we kept naming was Wackel. Had a really good game last night on both sides of the ball. Talk a little bit about him and what he provides to the Redskins.
Well, he's one of our captains, and he's a leader that's been at all the workouts during the summer and has really led us ever since he came off basketball last year. And I would say that he's got to keep doing that and getting more of those players to come into that direction. A couple things on defense that they were using to keep the opportunity for him to get to the ball. We'll have to get that chance to try to find a way to make him a little bit better opportunity. But on offense, yeah, he was driving well and getting the ball in the holes quite good. And then of course, eventually you end up wide open down the middle of the field. We got a couple passes that I think he caught one of them that was in good situations. So, yeah, he'll keep getting better, too, from it. And we got to give it to all our seniors. There's none of them backing off and not working hard and not accepting it. But we'll see with the maturation how they come along. And I can say that, this morning, with the challenge, and again, wasn't any kind of situation because of what they did last night. We said we're starting at 7 o'clock, and I'm pretty sure that except for the ones that had to work or were leaving on something with their families or whatever, we had 100% participation, and that's what's going to carry on. And it's got to be senior leadership in that aspect. And, you get frustrated, but then again, hey, the crowd was there, the community was there, things are going to happen. And if you see a lot of points on the board and exciting offenses running back and forth, and you still got power at the end where we were coming down with the ball and scored, it's going to show that the time element of any situation can be challenged, and we're doing a good job with it.
Well, we appreciate you coming in today. One final question for you. Last night, as you mentioned, the crowd was very well on hand, and it was a great atmosphere for the first home game of the season. But now you come back for another home game, hoping to avenge this Week 2 loss. Going into Week 3, are you health-wise looking after last night's game?
Oh, 100%, but you never know what... With COVID or the colds or the flus, like I said, we had a couple guys with some temperatures and had to sit out, didn't get back to practice till Wednesday. You never know when that's going to happen, so that's other people got to step up and do the right job. But we'll be 100%, no problem on Friday night.
I read this last night on the air. It was something that just popped up on my phone a couple of days ago, and I don't know if you probably won't appreciate me saying this, but you are the second active coach in the high school history that has the most wins, right behind Larry Budd from Sheridan, the head coach. You are the second highest winning coach that is still active in the state of Indiana. And it just speaks volumes to your longevity as coaching for 46 seasons. Tell me a little bit about that and what that means to you when you hear that.
Well, the fact is that we've done this in about 5 or 6 different schools, okay? So Bud's been at the same school the whole time. All right. Okay, I think he started at one at Mount Ayr over here by North Newton for 1 or 2 years. And we've been doing this at a lot of different programs. And if you can't see the excitement of the program of what Knox is right now and how it's going to keep getting there, then this is what we're building on. That's what we try to push. We're still here just our third year, but we're getting the atmosphere going and the winning going. And the wins will take their own, but then again, we don't back off from anybody. We want to, even when we had the COVID attacks in the last couple of years, we played the Highlands, we played Mishawaka Marion, Southwood. We pick up these other teams, and opponent only makes you better, and that's what the strength of it is. It'd be always fun to have all W's, but there's always going to be those L's, and that's just on a list of complications. There's still a lot of victories that took place out there last night, and for these young men in our community, that's what we're here to try to get that done and make it a positive atmosphere. You can say it in our school, our attendance, our people, our community, our people that are on a team. We're parents and our teachers have said, yeah, thank gosh that kid is playing football for you because he's been in trouble or situations and didn't get it done. Now we're finding out they're going to get to graduate, or they're going to get moved on. Though I think there's a lot more W's there than there are on the scoreboard, so that's what we look forward to.
I thought your senior quarterback, Cohen Watson, had a heck of a game, made a lot of smart decisions. He is showing his maturation as well, on your point. Talk a little bit about what it's like having a senior in charge of holding the ball, because, you know, you've got those young guys in the backfield in McLaughlin and Conroy. To have somebody like Watson, you must be very, very pleased.
Well, especially since he's getting better at getting the audibles and finding the scheme that works better for us. And he does a great job with his footwork. Even last night, they were shutting down certain running backs, and all of a sudden he's got the counter reaction coming back. And I think he might have scored 2 touchdowns, definitely in the first half. That was a result of that. On 4th down, we went for it, and he got caught, and that's because of an offensive lineman messed up on a block. Nothing from his fact that he didn't get that first down. But overall factor, he's doing well. Even last night, he got his helmet pulled off of the face mask. It wasn't called, but then you had to leave the field. He came right back in after that one play, and so the player that fit in for him that did quite well at that time, that adjusted, had to come in and play quarterback, was one of our
Rowan Jordan, wasn't it?
Yeah, Jordan, number 9.
I remember that play. I wondered what had happened on that play. I must have missed the helmet being taken off.
Once you lose your helmet on a game, you have to leave in college as well as high school, just to make sure that they get put back on right or whatever, and so that you don't have a kid out there playing. So he had to step off. The young men, like you said, come in, did a great job, filled in for a play, but came right back in. I think that was on that last drive, to tell you the truth.
Yes.
And so we only got 4 or 5 yards, but then from there he came right back in and still led us in all directions. So it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of attitude. I think the one thing is we're going to see a little bit more of him playing some, because he was all conference last year, led us in interceptions, and right now he's been playing just a lot of offense. You'll probably see him on a little bit of defense coming up.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time. Good luck next week against Culver. And we've been speaking with the Knox Redskins head coach, Russ Radtke, as he enters Week 3 to face the Culver Cavaliers this Friday night. We will be there on hand. 6:30 is the kickoff. 6 o'clock Central is the pregame. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
You're listening to WKVI FM 99.3. Knox, North Judson, Hamlet, and Winamac. Playing the best of the 80s, 90s, and today. A service of Kankakee Valley Broadcasting.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Babbel. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at babbel.com/TNC.
I thought learning a language would be too much work, but Babbel makes learning fun. J'aime Babbel.
Babbel's lessons only take 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, you can actually speak another language. Es como magia.
Babbel isn't robots talking. You learn words and phrases from real native speakers. I was ready for real-life conversations in just a few weeks. So easy.
To try Babbel free, text radio to 64,000. Text radio to 64,000.
From the K99.3 Weather Center, here's your forecast. It'll be partly cloudy today. 82 will be your high. Tonight, cloudy and 63. For Sunday, cloudy, 87. Sunday night, cloudy, maybe a thunderstorm around. Low of 69, 50% chance of rain. Monday, cloudy, chance of thunderstorms again. High of 85, 60% chance of rain. And Monday night, cloudy, showers, chance of a thunderstorm, and a low of 67, 70% chance of rain. Your outlook for Tuesday, cloudy and 79. That's your weather forecast from the station that brings you the best of the 80s, 90s, and today, K99.3.
It's time now for Hour 2 of the Saturday Sports Line with your host, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Columbi, and sports analyst, Chris McGowan.
Well, we heard from a lot of area coaches this morning. We've got more coming. Josh Burgess from the Winamac Warriors will be on hand, as well as Buzz Show from the South Central Satellites. So glad you're with us. Boy, a lot of excitement. We actually have the Athlete of the Week interview coming up next. And if you don't remember, our Athlete of the Week this past week was Bianca Huizar. She was the Lady Winamac golf player. I'm sorry, I just missed my paper here. She actually did so well in the Kankakee Valley tournament just a few weeks ago, first week of August. She placed in the top 10 out of 90 total golfers going up against 4A schools. But she talks in this interview I had with her about a score she had hoped to get, and she did beat that record, a personal record that she wanted to beat. So here is my interview with Bianca Huizar, our Athlete of the Week.
I am here with Bianca Huizar. You were the Winamac Athlete of the Week for the first time of the year. I know that was a few weeks ago, and I know you've golfed a lot since then, but talking about that first week, going up against 4A schools, that's pretty impressive here coming from Winamac. So the competition is not easy, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So what is it that you love about golf that gets you to want to perform at that high a level?
Well, I just love that basically anybody can go out and play, and it doesn't matter on your athletic ability whether or not you'll be good at it, because it's just all up to technique and the amount of time that you put into it and spend. And so I really like that aspect of it, because even if they are 4A schools or they have a lot more girls than us, it just really depends on how much time they put into it, more or less.
What are your parents' names?
My mom is Abby Berger and my dad is Antonio Huizar.
And you've grown up in Winamac?
Mm-hmm, yep.
Absolutely. Do you have any siblings?
I have 2 siblings. I have an older brother, his name is Marcus, and I have a younger brother named Bo.
What made you pick up golf?
I just kind of really liked it. Most of my family plays golf just for fun and do like leagues and everything, and I just enjoy it because it's fun and it's something that I can always go out and do.
Well, it sounds like you're pretty good at it. Let's catch up. I know that first week at the Kankakee Valley tournament, you did really well. You placed in the top 10 out of 90 total golfers. But catch us up to speed on what has happened since then. I've read some of your scores. You're continuing to do very well. What other meets have you been to?
So since then, we had 2 other invitationals, and then we've had 4 regular season meets, just 9-hole meets now. And we've had 2 at Moss Creek, and I believe I shot a 43 and a 46. And then last night we went to CMA, their private course, and I shot my best, tied my best with a 39. That was my goal for the year, was to shoot in the 30s this year. So
theoretically, in your mind, last night was more important than the first that we're awarding you for.
Yeah,
that's understandable.
Last night was really fun, and I enjoyed it a lot. Especially because it was a super hard course, and I was very happy that I did well on a hard course.
So what advice would you give younger girls that may look up to you as a varsity athlete, some in middle school, some in freshman? What would you say to them if they want to be successful like you have been this year thus far?
I would say just all it takes is just the time you put into it, because all last year I was in like winter camps and stuff like that for golf, and I've just been constantly playing pretty much every day since then, just to keep where I'm at and strive to get better. So just you get out of it what you put into it, and as long as you keep practicing, your goals will come along with it as long as you keep at it.
So how long have you been golfing exactly?
I started the summer of freshman year, so just a little over 3 years now.
Wow. So it's somewhat fresh.
So
do you play during the summer, like you said, with your family and stuff?
Yeah, I do. My grandma actually is in like different golf outing leagues and stuff like that with the surrounding golf courses, and then me and my stepdad go out and golf a lot, and my dad golfs, and just basically the people around me golf, so I'm drawn into it and I really enjoy it.
What are your goals for the rest of the season? What do you hope to accomplish? You said you scored the 39 last night. Now you've got to have other goals.
Yeah. So I'd say my goals now is to try to beat 39 for 9-hole meets. It'd be really cool if I could get into like 38, 37. That would be awesome. And I'm trying to, for the state tournament, which is our last 18-hole meets, I'd really enjoy getting into the 70s for those. And I believe that's probably where I'm at goals-wise. But yeah, those would be I would really like to accomplish those.
And I meant to ask this, who's the coach's name?
Scott Rodabush is our coach.
And has that been someone that has been a good mentor for you?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
That was our Athlete of the Week, our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week, Bianca Huizar. We appreciate her and congratulate her and look forward to seeing what she has for the rest of the season. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. Winamac head coach Josh Burgess is here in the studio live to talk about his game last night, and then a little bit later we'll have South Central's head coach Buzz Schoff as well. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Life is busy. At First Farmers Bank and Trust, we know that your time is valuable. That's why we offer mobile banking, online account opening, and mobile check deposit, so you can take care of your banking and get back to the people who matter most to you, while we take care of the people who matter most to us, our customers. Visit us online at ffbt.com to learn more. First Farmers Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Welcome to Marian University's newest location, Ancilla College of Marian University. Marian's newest campus location in Plymouth is your home for an on-campus college experience. From living in the dorms to being a collegiate student-athlete, Marian University is ranked 3rd most innovative Midwest university by U.S. News and World Report. For more information about our 2- or 4-year degrees, go to www.marian.edu/Ancilla. That's www.marian.edu/Ancilla. Coke knows there's nothing better than the beat of the summer. The beat begins in a simple and mellow place, from low-key to hyped up. So we're helping you and your friends drink it all in with 100 days of the artist's experiences, tracks, and concerts with the best names in music, all at Coke Studio. Drink, scan, and enjoy your Coke, so you never miss out on all the amazing offers we're dropping this summer.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Back here at the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios, we have special guest, head coach of the Winamac Warriors, Josh Burgess here, and he is coming off a tough loss against Pioneer last night. And Josh, we appreciate you coming in and taking time to talk with us. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm good. How are you guys this morning?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
living the dream, just not my own.
I hear you.
Well, I don't know. I had a really good dream last night. I slept pretty good.
We don't want to get into that. Let's talk some football. All right,
Sounds
Coach
good.
Burgess. Hey, always going to the pit. Pioneer, tough place to play. And like you said last week, just a tradition-rich program, and have kind of set the bar for 1A football over the last decade and a half. It seems like. What concerns you the most going into last night's game?
Just first of all, the first road game. We went on the road for the scrimmage, but a little bit different when you're actually going for a game. And like you said, traditionally, a really tough place to play. Coach Barry does an excellent job with his program. He always has his kids ready to go, and they were last night. I was happy with our kids, though, from the start, though. I thought we played pretty well at the start, especially defensively, a little bit better than the week before. So that was good. And I just thought, about midway through the second quarter, really Pioneer wasn't doing anything differently. Defensively especially, we had some guys start to get upfield a little bit inside. D linemen standing up a little bit. Linebackers not getting their key reads the way that they were early on. And Pioneer got a couple scores in. I think the backbreaker for us was the one just right before half to make it 20-0. Again, not an insurmountable lead by any stretch of imagination going in, but just that score I think kind of deflated us a little bit going into the locker room and coming out a little bit too.
Yeah, going into so Pioneer scores right before halftime. Who got the ball to start the second half?
They got the ball to start the second half.
There you go.
So,
yeah. So,
and coming out, had a good kick coverage. Made an excellent stop on first down. Then they hit us for a trap where we've got 2 or 3 guys just upfield, about 6 yards upfield, and one guy got trapped and off they go. So just gave up that big play right there. So big momentum shifter right at the third quarter, and just really offensively last night I thought we struggled a little bit, especially up front. They were pretty quick on the defensive line, brought some pressure with their middle linebacker that we did not handle very well, especially early on. So just those things. But again, I saw some things that were positives last night. We just have to continue to work on being more consistently, if that makes sense.
Right.
Getting those guys to be consistent players on Friday night. So we'll continue to work on that.
So what was the biggest emphasis for the Winamac Warriors going into last night during the week of practice? What did you concentrate on the most?
Yeah, we really just focused on ourselves. Didn't put a whole lot in offensively. We just needed to, clean up some of the things that we run. And we had a pretty good week of practice, pretty good pregame on Thursday. Again, I think just the speed of Pioneers' front four and the activity that they brought kind of flustered our kids up front and really kind of took us out of some of those things offensively we wanted to do.
Well, you're taking on North White this coming week. Tell us a little bit about what you're preparing for, what you have maybe seen. Have you looked at any film quite yet?
Just checked a couple things here and there this morning. I'll get back into it after I leave here today. But North White's numbers, they're in the 20s. Their numbers are a little down, but all those kids that are playing have played for them for about 2 or 3 years. I know their quarterback, it's coach's son, the Quaysbarth kid, very active. He started since a freshman, and he's a concern. He throws a nice ball. He runs around. They put the ball in his hands a lot. And defensively, after watching our film from the last couple of weeks, I'm sure we're going to see our fair share of pressure. We've just got to do a better job of picking up that pressure and recognizing where that pressure is coming from. So, they've got some things that they do pretty well that we'll really have to work on to make sure we're ready for.
How'd your sophomore QB Cash Roth do last night?
Cash had a rough night. He was under pressure all night long, and really didn't have a chance to step into some throws. And a couple throws where he did have time, I think he was a little rushed. I think expecting some of that pressure. So, he had kind of a sophomore game. Some things in his doing, but other things, not really his fault. So we've got to do a better job of playing well around him to take some of that pressure off of him.
Okay, on a personal note, I have to ask you. A lot of people, the common listener doesn't know everything that goes into being a head coach, no matter what sport. What's been the biggest adjustment for you?
I think just, it's not necessarily the coaching, that's hard enough, but just the administrative stuff that goes on during the week, just some of the emails. I won't go into all the details, but it seems like every day there's an email about, a kid or in class or something that needs done through the athletic department or just those things. And I knew that those things would have to be done, but until you're actually doing them on a daily basis, you don't realize maybe how much time that takes and what that takes out of your day. So, hey, I've enjoyed it and it's been good. And I've got awesome support from our administration, and our kids are really good. But just those little extra things that you know that you're going to have to do, but you don't think it's going to take a lot of time, but ends up taking more time than what you think.
So is it everything you hoped it would be so far?
Oh, yeah.
Granted, you're 0-2, but again, you lose over 20 seniors from last year's team. A lot of youth coming back. But again, everything that you had hoped and more. Or?
Yeah, I'm really excited to be the head coach. I think I told you guys, I'm really fortunate. Got great guys that I work with, and our kids are really good. Can't fault our kids' effort. Our kids, first 2 weeks of the season, have played really hard. They just need varsity experience, and we're trying to get them that. Going back to last night a little bit, I'll mention just a couple of kids real quick if I could. Defensively, obviously we gave up 38 points, but I saw some progress defensively from some kids. We've got a couple young linebackers. Talon Garner's a sophomore in the middle, and then Tucker Fox is a junior, but he didn't play last year. He played as a freshman, didn't come out, and then he came back out. So those two guys are making progress at linebacker. Zane Bell, our senior defensive end, he's been struggling with some injuries here and there, but he made some nice plays last night. Looked more like the Zane that we're used to seeing. And then another kid that came in the second half was Addison Allen. Addison's a sophomore safety, just real aggressive kid. Read his keys well when he was in there, gets downhill, and he's definitely going to see some more playing time as we go forward. So saw some good things there. And offensively, too, I thought Maddox Buzinski, I mentioned him last week, but he continues to run the ball hard. There weren't a lot of things open up front last night, but made some good cuts, had about 50 yards rushing, and did some good things for us.
We're talking with Winamac Warriors head coach Josh Burgess as he heads into Week 3 against North White. We're going to be at your game a couple weeks from now on September 16th against the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays. We're excited to broadcast your game. We're doing 3 Winamac games this year, and last night we got the sideline reporting to work, so we were happy about that, and something to look forward to have us down there on the sideline getting all the inside information. Chris is doing a fantastic job with that. But talk a little bit about some of the action that the younger guys will be able to see now through these losses and learn from it, so that when they become older in juniors and seniors, they will be more prepared for that. This has to be a learning process for them. It's almost got to be a negative that turns into a positive, I'd say.
Oh, definitely. we knew we had some work to do coming in. I think the biggest thing is like I've said, just getting our guys varsity snaps. Friday's a big thing for us, just seeing the speed of the game and how that's different than what they're used to. And I think, too, we talk a lot about just the preparation throughout the week. Our guys have to learn to be varsity players, not only Friday night, but Monday through Thursday. And don't fault the effort at all, but, we got to continue to improve on, hey, Monday through Thursday. And we get good effort in practice and get things done. But, hey, what do I need to do mentally? How much time do I need to spend with film? What do I need to do with the scouting report? There's some little things that our kids haven't had to do that they have to do now. So that's part of the learning process for our guys as well.
Yeah, getting creative in practice. There were times you never want to see anybody get hurt in practice, but you also, we have to be able to simulate game speed in practice. So getting creative and doing half line work where you're going good on good, varsity on varsity. But again, you always run that risk of somebody getting hurt, and you never want to see that happen at any time, but especially in practice. So it's something that, again, it just takes time to build. And, Rome wasn't built in a day, but your enthusiasm, I think, is contagious, and I think it's going to catch on here real quick for your Warriors.
Yeah, we've we're doing some things. You mentioned practice-wise. We've changed some things up here, not drastic changes, but, just always looking to do some different things to get our kids some of the experience that they need and just to keep things fresh. So we'll continue to do those things. And, I'm fortunate I've got a great staff of guys around with me that I trust, and you don't have to do a lot. Those guys know what they're doing with Marc and Brandon and Parker and Dalton and Levi. They do an excellent job of coaching our kids up and helping me out. It makes my job a whole lot easier. So again, we'll continue to work with the kids, and I like our kids' attitude, and we'll continue to work to get better.
How are you looking health-wise? Is Knox off the concussion protocol?
He's still in the concussion protocol. They bumped him back just a little bit, so we're hoping he gets reevaluated this week, and might not be available for this week, but at least getting him healthy down the line. Other than that, we're in pretty good shape. Just the typical bumps and bruises. We always talk about it. You're going to have those, and you're going to have to learn to play with those things. But I think we're in pretty good shape health-wise, and should be going forward here hopefully for the next couple weeks or so.
Talking to head coach Josh Burgess of the Winamac Warriors. Coach, thank you for your time. And next Saturday, let's talk about your first win as a head coach.
Hey, I'd like that. That sounds good to me. Hey, appreciate you guys, and appreciate me letting me come on and talk a little bit of football about Winamac. So thank you very much. Appreciate you guys.
Well, thanks for making the drive to come in. We appreciate that. That means a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, absolutely. We're talking with Josh Burgess, head coach of the Winamac Warriors. We're going to take a quick break, come right back, talk to the South Central Satellites head coach Buzz Schoff. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Brems. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392.
This presentation of our area's local high school sports is sponsored by Pulaski Memorial Hospital in Winamac. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is dedicated to providing excellent health care to improve the health and quality of life for the people and the community they serve. They will meet the community's needs and exceed their expectations by creating the best possible healthcare experience. For more information of the services they provide, call 946-2100.
Welcome to Marian University's newest location, Ancilla College of Marian University. Marian's newest campus location in Plymouth is your home for an on-campus college experience. From living in the dorms to being a collegiate student-athlete, Marian University is ranked third most innovative Midwest university by U.S. News and World Report. For more information about our 2- or 4-year degrees, go to www.marian.edu/Ancilla. That's www.marian.edu/Ancilla.
Let's continue the conversation with area high school coaches and more on the Saturday Sports Line.
From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios, you're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI. Mitch Columbi, along with sports analyst Chris McGowan, and we have a special guest, head coach of the South Central Satellites, Buzz Schoff, and we appreciate you coming in today, Buzz. A tough loss last night against the Culver Cavs, 32-16, but a much better performance scoring the ball this week. So talk a little bit about what your guys prepared for Culver and how excited you are moving forward, hopefully.
There's one game that's always on the schedule that's an easy week to coach for, just because the kids' mindsets are right. The kids, they put a lot of stake in this game. I don't know why. It's always just been a classic, good high school football game. Anytime South Central and Culver get together, no matter what the outcome of the game is interesting the whole time. Last night, both teams really needed to, their guys really needed to prove to themselves that they can play this game. They needed it after their loss to North Judson. We needed it after last week's poor performance against Triton. And both teams came out with the mentality of, we can win this football game. And the frustrating thing is you look at the box score there and you see that we lost 32-16, and it's very easy to just say, wow, South Central is struggling bad right now. I get it. We've been outscored 81-16 in 2 games. It looks bad. But what people don't see is that with 6 minutes to go in the game, it's tied 16-16. So that's what people don't see. They just see that final score. And in the process of 6 minutes to go in the game, tied 16-16, Aaron Hogan goes down with a knee. So now I don't have a tailback. We finished the game last night without a running back.
You're already short on numbers.
With a 29-man roster, it's all hands on deck. So when you're playing a game with 6 minutes to go, and we did a great job of executing what we wanted to do. We knew that we could probably get to the edge on them, which we were able to do. But you can't just run the edge. You got to run up the middle too, just so they contain their linebackers inside that box. So we were giving them a heavy dose of inside run, outside run, and then we were also throwing the ball quite a bit, and we were throwing the ball effectively. And Zach was scrambling a little bit. So we were executing our offense the way that we needed to in order to compete in last night's game. Well, that's easy to do when you have a running back. When you don't have a running back, how do you run inside run? How do you run outside zone? You can't do it anymore. So now I have a freshman at tailback who's essentially the backup Sam linebacker is all he is. But he's our running back right now. So really it's just I need 11 guys out here. So I told Zach, I look at Zach, I said, it's time for you to take this game over. All right? You're going to earn your stripes today. And as a coach, coaching at South Central, and any 1A coach, most of us are very good at giving instruction right there and just hoping kids comprehend what you're saying. So when Zach comes off the field to get a play, I have to explain the play, how I want this play to run, because it's not a play we have. This is a made-up play. So, and a lot of times the stat guy who I say a play, he's like, what play is this? I go, it's made up. I drew it in the dirt. And so I told Zach, I told him, I said, all right, this is what we're going to do. And it ended up just being, I want the ball in my best athlete's hand the whole time. And Zach was the best athlete we had at that time. So the fact that I can instruct a kid in the 10 seconds that I have to instruct him and execute a play to the point where we are still in a football game and driving in to tie it at 24 speaks volumes for what our kids are capable of. I told our kids there is absolutely nothing that we have to be ashamed of this performance tonight. Under the circumstances in which you had to play And all the stuff that we threw at you as coaches, you answered everything that we asked you to do. Tip their hat off to Culver. They played a great game. Okay, they executed what they wanted to do. They needed that too. Their program needed that. But our kids were able to compete with them, playing in positions that they never even thought they played. But that's where we're at.
Yeah, I'm sitting here. I'm smiling and listening to you talk, and it's not because I feel for you, and that's why I'm sitting on this side of the mic now, and that's why when you look at me, my hair is not gray, it's not black, it's white, and there's no getting around it. So I feel your pain. I had all these memories just come flashing back to my years of being a coach, either an assistant or a head coach. So again, yeah, I feel your pain. Okay, so last night over with. You got Boone Grove Wolves coming to South Central. What do you know about Boone Grove?
So Boone Grove, so a lot of times we would have Culver, and Culver would run that T, and they would just pound it down your throat. It's kind of strange because, and then Boone, they would run a similar type offense, not T, but they would have one split in, but they'd have three backs in the backfield, and they would just kind of jam it down your throat. Well, Culver has kind of went more to a spread type offense, and Boone Grove's a spread type offense. So the good thing is those are types of games that we, as South Central people, look forward to. We want to throw the ball. We want teams to try to throw the ball. That's the kind of football I enjoy coaching and watching. So at least we're not getting just run through a gap. We're going to see a lot of spread formations. Their quarterback, he's a type of kid who can sling the ball over the field, or he can outrun you to the corner. So it should be another interesting game. Boone Grove is historically low on numbers, but I think they recruited everybody from Porter County because they had a scrimmage. Their scrimmage was played at our place this year against KV, and when we got back from John Glenn, I walked out on the field and I told Dan, their head coach, I go, where did all these kids come from? And they got like 48 kids or something, which is not something you usually see from them. Usually they're right around us, 30, 25 to 30. So they are on the rise. But again, it's another one of those games that if we go in with the right game plan, which, as coaches, it's our job to figure that out Saturday and Sunday, what we need to do in order to compete in this football game. If we do that and our kids have total buy-in, it's another one of those games that is a winnable game. It's not going to be easy by no means at all, but we will give ourselves the opportunity to win the football game. I don't think it's going to be one of those games that just gets out of control right out of the gate. I think it's going to be one of those competitive games until one team has some catastrophic thing, which seems to be us the past 2 weeks. So it's another winnable game, but we have to play our best. We have to continue to improve on what we're doing, and our kids have total buy-in right now. There's no doubt of anything that we're doing. Our kids trust that I'm doing everything I can to be successful, and as long as we have that, we're going to be just fine.
Talking to Coach Buzz Schoff, the head coach of the South Central Satellites, real quick, what's the status, without giving too much away here, what's the status of the running back?
So we're going to be out 2, but I think we're going to have 1.
Okay. All right. Again, we thank Coach Buzz Schoff for the South Central Satellites coming in after a tough loss last night to Culver, and we wish you the best of luck next week against Boone Grove.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Hey, thanks for coming in, Coach. Stick around. We've got more coming your way here on the Saturday Sports Line from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios. We're going to have an interview. I spoke with the Oregon Davis Athletic Director, Aubrey Lady. Got a chance to talk to her. We'll see about what sports are happening this fall at OD. Stick around. You don't want to miss it. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Collins Insurance Agency in Knox has done it again. They have earned the distinction of preferred agency partner from the Western Reserve Insurance Company.
Can't touch this.
So what does that mean for you? Collins Insurance Agency provides themselves of taking care of its community. That means providing the best insurance that keeps you and your family safe in a time of need. And with this honor, Collins Insurance Agency looks forward to providing Stark and surrounding counties the best customer service you and your family deserve. Collins Insurance Agency in Knox, living the golden rule by treating you like family.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Brems. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392.
Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Line. I'm sitting here with Athletic Director Aubrey Lady, and thank you so much for taking your time today. We appreciate it, and I just wanted to touch base on kind of some of the sports that are going on here at Oregon Davis, and tell us how exciting it is for the kids to be back at school.
Well, we're happy they're back. It was a long summer, what it felt like, but we've got soccer going now and volleyball, and our cross-country team and our girls golf is actually going. We have girls golf playing quite a few matches every week, so they're getting out there and getting things done. They have a new coach this year with Brian Ernest, and then our soccer also has a new coach this year, and Coach Nava. He has 14 kids out on the team, so we're happy and excited that we're able to get out there with a few more kids this year and get some subs in and out for them. And then our volleyball has a new coach this year in Lexi Minix, and they've been doing really well. They're struggling a little bit, but they're figuring it out and getting close, and hopefully they get over the hump here and are ready come tournament time at the end of the season. And then lastly, our cross-country coach, Kim Saylor, she's got a couple runners this year, and they're getting out there and running their hearts out. So
I actually got to meet your sister the other day, the head coach of the volleyball team, and you say Lexi Minix, correct? Yes.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about what it's like working with another family member. Maybe, I'm guessing you guys are good friends.
Yeah.
Being an outsider, I would assume so. But tell me a little bit, what's it like being the athletic director, but also having your sister being the head coach of a sport in your program?
Well, I know her background, obviously, and I'm able to talk to her a little bit more. Our family bleeds red, white, and black, so I know that she, loves the kids, loves the school, will do anything for them, so that helps too, as do all of our coaches. But working with Lexi, I'm able to kind of get in her ear a little bit more, hey, how about this? Or even though she probably knows a little bit more than myself on volleyball, but just being able to sit down and kind of talk things through, or if she has a issue that she wants to deal with as far as a player goes in the classroom or something, then we're able to kind of sit down over dinner and talk it out, or watching whatever's on TV that night. But it is kind of fun. She does a very good job of relating with the kids, which is nice, and she's actually my assistant for basketball, so I'm the bad cop, she's the good cop, so she just kind of carries that over in coaching volleyball, and she does a pretty good job at it, so I'm glad we have her on board.
And we'll switch to cross country. Tell me a little bit about preparing for a cross country meet. I didn't run cross country, so I'm a novice when it comes to this. I know there's a lot of scheduling, but also the courses that they run. I mean, I don't know how you guys have time to schedule all this stuff. It's amazing to me, really. But when it comes to the cross-country team, I'm guessing there's probably athletes on the team that might be 2- and 3-sport athletes. Touch base on what the cross-country does to prepare athletes for the rest of the year in school.
Funny you should say that, because our cross-country runner, one of them, we have two. Our female cross-country runner, Kylie Saylor, is actually a 3-sport athlete in the fall. She does do other sports as well outside of fall.
Just in the fall?
Just in fall.
My
so she does
goodness.
cross-country, soccer, and volleyball. So she's able to do some of her running, obviously, in soccer and things, but just kind of getting that the physical and the physicality of making sure that you have the endurance to last a full volleyball game or a full soccer game. It is different, obviously, from sport to sport. Cross country, you're going for a longer period of time, and soccer is more short spurts. But it does help in the long run, especially when it comes to basketball seasons. She's a basketball player as well, so she's able to make it the full practice and not get too winded. But they do love going to New Prairie and running there. It's a great course. It's very different than a lot of others. But just being able to go to the different courses and kind of see, you have some that have creeks that you might have to run through a little bit or through the woods or whatever. It's just different scenery as opposed to running around Oregon Davis. And, we don't have too much of a difference here, but being able to get out there and get on those different courses and run with some of the bigger schools and, Culver Academy, you're running around the lake and things like that. So it's kind of gets them a way to get out there and be with nature and kind of take it all in, because sometimes we don't get to sit back and relax and actually see what, we have all around us. And I think that kind of helps the kids as far as just relaxing and going with it.
So a 3-sport athlete in the fall, that's amazing. And then you touched base on soccer a little bit. Tell us about your head coach. I know that they just hired a new varsity assistant coach, I believe. I heard in the school board meeting the other night. Tell us a little bit about them.
So we got Coach Nava and Coach Lawrence. They work really well together. Coach Nava is a little bit older, so he's able to kind of be the bad cop again, and Maxwell is a little bit closer to their age, so he can kind of relate a little. I understand that you're going to class and you have all this to get done. Make sure you're getting it done first and then getting out here on the field and working. But they do a good job of bouncing things off of each other. We had our first game on Tuesday, and we had 6 goals. We didn't end up winning, but we were still hitting goals, and that's what we want to do. And hopefully eventually we'll get to the point where, hey, now we've got it under control, we know what we're doing, and we can just go from there and kind of put it all together. We were struggling a little bit at the beginning to get the numbers, but luckily we've had enough come out. It is co-ed, so we do have 3 girls that are playing as well. But it's a great mix. The kids are great. They work well with the coaches. They're having a good time, and that's all we can ask.
Let's talk finally about golf. Head coach, I don't know if you mentioned the head coach.
Brian Ernest?
Yeah, you did. I'm sorry. Tell me about his schedule and what he's looking forward to out of his, I guess, boys and girls golf?
Just girls.
Just girls golf. So tell me what he's expecting out of his girls this fall.
He's got 4 girls, 1 in every class, so freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. And they pretty much play almost every day of the week. We were talking a little bit, and they don't have as much time to practice, but the good thing about going out and playing a different course every day is that they're getting, the different sand traps and, the different hazards and how to get around different trees or hills or whatever it might be, because we play in the LaPorte sectional and September 16th, I believe. So, it's not just a flat course. Our home course is Hamlet. It's a little flatter. And this should hopefully give them the chance to kind of experience those different things that if maybe not given the chance to be able to get there outside of school, that they have that opportunity to go out and play those courses and kind of learn a little bit more. Brian works at Hamlet Golf Course, and he does a great job at making sure the girls understand not only how to swing the club, but the game itself. And, what club should you use here? Just because you can get it that far, is that really a good shot? Or should we, club down, club up? But he works really well with the girls, and they're having fun. They are improving as the season has gone, and hopefully they continue to do that, so once sectional comes, they're ready to go.
Talking with Oregon Davis School Corporation's Athletic Director, Aubrey Lady. Thank you so much for your time. I know basketball is right around the corner. I know you've got to worry about the fall sports, but I know you, in the back of your mind, you're getting ready for basketball. This is basketball country. Let's just finish up the interview talking about what you're hopeful for to start the season out before we get to talk to you later on in the fall.
Well, we're hoping to have a JV team this year. We've struggled the last few years of getting numbers, but we're hoping we have enough, even if it's just to play a half of a game. I think it's very important for the girls to not, especially coming in as a freshman, to go up against seniors right out of the gate is crazy. They're 2 different kids, but So we're hoping to do that. We played this summer. We went to Cedar Point. We went to Indiana Wesleyan. Went to a few different places, and the girls had fun. They were able to learn a little bit more about each other. Having 6 new girls makes it so that we're trying to figure out, okay, how do we play with this person? How does this person react when I do this? Or do I need this person in this spot? Not only myself, but the girls as well. And they did a pretty good job. We'll have a lot of work to do, fundamentals and things, but it's going to be a fun year, so I'm excited.
Well, I appreciate your time and shining a light on Oregon Davis here this fall. I know we're heavy football right now, but we wanted to make sure and get over here and talk to you. We're excited for you. I know this isn't going to be the last time we talk, so thank you so much for your time.
No problem. We appreciate it.
Talking with Athletic Director from Oregon Davis School Corporation, Aubrey Lady. We will be right back after this message. You're listening.
Coke knows there's nothing better than the beat of the summer. The beat begins in a simple and mellow place, from low-key to hyped up. So we're helping you and your friends drink it all in with 100 days of the artist's experiences, tracks, and concerts with the best names in music, all at Coke Studio. Drink, scan, and enjoy your Coke so you never miss out on all the amazing offers we're dropping this summer.
Since 1936, Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning have always taken pride in doing the job right. Third-generation owner Brian Hammond and his family have always set the standard when it comes to taking care of all your heating and cooling needs. Making your home a comfortable home is the absolute top priority. If you are uncomfortable in your home, give them a call at 574-936-4660. Follow them on Facebook. Let Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning help you take control of your comfort.
This presentation of our area's local high school sports is sponsored by Pulaski Memorial Hospital in Winamac, people and the community they serve. They will meet the community's needs and exceed their expectations by creating the best possible healthcare experience. For more information of the services they provide, call 946-2100.
It's time now for Where Are They Now? A look back at more than a half century of WKVI radio covering local high school sports. Today's program is brought to you by Osborne's Mini Marts in Knox and Culver. Now let's meet one of the local high school sports figures from more than 50 years of WKVI sports and find out where are they now.
As we look back on more than 50 years of broadcasting high school sports in the Kankakee Valley here on WKVI, our guest is Butch Smirt, a 1971 graduate of North Judson-San Pierre High School. And we call this segment, Where Are They Now? So, Butch, where are you now and what are you doing?
Well, thank you, Harold. It's good to talk to the Kankakee Valley legend. So I live in Kansas City now, and I've been living in Kansas City for about the last 40 years.
Well, you have, I know, been involved in working with the NCAA and doing some investigative work over the years, I understand.
That's correct. I ended up going to IU and getting my undergraduate and graduate degree, and then getting into motor vehicle reconstruction, transportation type of accident reconstruction. And a friend of mine from IU was working at the NCAA. So I decided to leave safety investigations and get into athletic investigations. And so I was with the NCAA for about 19 years. And in 1999, the NCAA offices moved from Kansas City to Indianapolis. It would have been a chance for me to get back to Indiana, but I had met and married a woman from Kansas City, and she said we weren't moving. So I then went to the other side, if you will. So for the first 20 years, I prosecuted the NCAA, prosecuted schools on behalf of the NCAA. Now, for the last 21 years, I've defended schools against the NCAA. So I've had the pleasure of working in intercollegiate athletics now for about 41 years.
Wow, and of course, going back to your athletic days at North Judson-San Pierre High School, you played on some very successful basketball teams. You played on the only undefeated football team in the history of North Judson-San Pierre High School back in 1970, and that kind of led to you playing some football at IU too, didn't it?
It did. I was fortunate enough to play on a very good football team at Judson, which got me some visibility, which helped then get me a chance to go to IU to play, and which was a very good experience. I actually played 2 years under Johnny Pont, and my last 2 years was under a guy named Lee Corso, who's obviously got some fame here in his broadcasting career.
Well, back in your high school days, you were pretty fortunate, too, because you played with some pretty darn good athletes in all the sports you played there at North Judson. Who were some of those guys that you remember?
Well, I think my junior year in basketball, we were 17-3, and had a very good team. We were fortunate enough to beat Knox in the semifinal of the sectional, and then got beat by Winamac, the championship game. And after we had beat Winamac by 20 during the regular season, so if you still hear a little resentment in my voice, it's because that still chaps me a little bit. But we had some great on that junior team. There was Wickert and Young and Radtke and Marc and Newman. So we had some good guys then. And then senior year in basketball, we had again another good team. We just didn't. We again got beat in the sectional championship by Knox, and Knox was a better team, but we took them to overtime. And Garland was Denny Garland was and Pollock, I think, were the two guys that were pretty good, and they were very good, and I respect them a lot. It's hard for me still to say that, but I do. Denny Garland was a very good ball player, and obviously Pollock, I think, went on to play football in college, so he was a pretty good athlete.
Well, you again had the fortune to play with some good guys that resulted in success in all the sports that you played. And growing up there in North Judson, Butch, who were some of the guys some of the people, I should say, who were your mentors or the people you looked up to that helped you be so successful?
Well, any success that I had resulted from the individuals I played with, and I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to IU, but for the guys I played with, we wouldn't have had that successful season, which caused then some people to say, that's a pretty good team. They must have some decent athletes. But there was a guy named Larry Nielsen. He was 2 years older for basketball. Larry mentored that team that eventually did very well my junior and senior year. And then in football, I think there were just a series of teams before us that tried to lay the groundwork, if you will. But I think the football success goes primarily to Les Thornton, who was our coach for all 4 years.
Well, I ran into a former teammate of yours the other night. He was officiating my granddaughter's seventh grade basketball game, and Bill Davis told me to tell you that I saw him and he can still run the court. Can you?
Well, I still play. In fact, I play on a team. Believe it or not, there's something called the Masters Basketball Association, and they have tournaments throughout the country, and I'm on a team that we travel to Miami, Tampa, Albuquerque, St. George, Utah. We play 3 or 4 tournaments a year, and we're in the 65 to 70 division, but it's full court. It's 3 officials. We average about 70 a game, so I still play, and this team is we're a pretty competitive team. So there are a lot of people who still take it pretty seriously.
Tell us about your family, Butch.
I am as many people. I out-punted the coverage and married a very nice lady named Gina, and we have 4 children. Our oldest is 30. The youngest is 20, and he's actually playing football at the University of Dayton.
Well, it certainly doesn't seem like a half century has passed by, but boy, great memories from those high school days. And our guest here on our Where Are They Now segment is Butch Smirt, a 1971 graduate of North Judson-San Pierre High School, and we'll be back to continue our conversation after this word from Osborne's Mini Mart.
Need a game plan that has your day covered from tip-off to the buzzer? Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox has you covered. Whether you like to start out with a caffeinated full-court press or control the tempo with a Subway breakfast flatbread, Osborne's Mini Mart has what you need. Don't get trapped in the corner with an empty stomach. Call a quick timeout and get 2 hot dogs for $1.29. Visit Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox at the corner of US 35 and Highway 8 East to guarantee you win the day.
Our guest is Butch Smirt, a 1971 graduate of North Judson-San Pierre High School, who had a lot of success playing ball for North Judson-San Pierre High School back in the day, and had a successful career for Indiana University playing football. And let me ask you this, Butch. What did you gain from being a high school athlete that has helped you be so successful in life?
I think discipline, the ability to work toward a common goal, and organization, and just having to organize your life in order to do the things that you need to get done.
And what advice would you have for young athletes who might be listening that would like to have the kind of success that you had? What advice would you give them?
I had the opportunity to talk. You remember I was coached by Jerry Hoover. Hoover was at Blacksburg High School for several years, and now he's retired. But I went down to Blacksburg 2 years ago to watch his team play. He said, "Would you talk to the team beforehand?" And I said, "What am I going to tell the team?" He said, "Well, just talk to the team." And I told them 2 things. I said, one is I am proof that there is life after Jerry Hoover. That many of you think that by work coaching for Hoover, you're going to die, you're not going to make it through. I am proof that you can make it through being coached by Jerry Hoover. And I said the second thing is make sure that you maximize every moment of your high school career, because you will remember those. You will have a lot of memories of those. And you want to make sure that 50 years from now, you feel like I have done everything I could to create a good experience. And it doesn't have to be a winning experience, but to create a good experience in your high school career. I alluded to getting beat by Knox my senior year. I was 3 of 5 from the field, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 8 points. Not a great performance, but isn't it interesting? After 50 whatever years, I still remember that. And I told them, you're going to have memories of your experiences, and so make sure that you've done everything possible by practicing, by staying in shape, etc., to maximize your high school career. Again, you don't need to be all state. You don't need to be all conference. You just need to be all yourself. And maximize your effort, because you will have memories for many years. So I think that's what I would tell them.
Butch, thanks so much for taking time and sharing your remembrances with our audience, and thank you for giving a young broadcaster back in those days a lot of exciting games and performances to remember as well.
Well, thank you. You've had a very successful career, and what you did with WKVI coming into that small town market and developing what you have is pretty remarkable, and a pretty successful career that you've had.
Our guest on Where Are They Now has been Butch Smirt, a 1971 graduate of North Judson-San Pierre High School. Join us again next week on the Saturday Sports Line for Where Are They Now?
Where Are They Now? A look back at more than a half century of high school sports coverage on WKVI has been brought to you by Osborne's Mini Marts in Knox and Culver.
You're listening to Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
It's time now for our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week, given in memory of Tyler Roth, a 2001 graduate of Winamac High School who died in an auto accident 1 week after his high school graduation. Today's award is brought to you by Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winamac, and we'll tell you who's earned the Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week after this word from Web Printing.
Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack and signs of all kinds in Winamac is where all of your printing needs can be met. Whether it's paper, garments, or signs, Web Printing is your full-service printing solution. So if you're in need of embroidered or screen-printed garments, tickets or programs for your event, or documents for your business, Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack is the place to go. For the quickest service, best prices, and best quality, it's Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winamac.
Our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week for this week is quarterback Aldric Harper from the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays. Harper threw for 3 touchdowns and rushed for another. He had 190 total yards on offense just in the first half. Aldric is the son of Katrina and Alvin Harper and is also a member of the Blue Jay basketball team. That is our Tyler Roth Athlete of the Week, our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week. And that's all we have for the Saturday Sports Line. Until next week, see you then on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.